Uh, Good afternoon, I'm Maximiliano Arancibia, and now I'm going to be talking about my experience during this professional practice. To start with, I'm going to introduce the context of the school. The name of the school is Comunidad Educativa Cumelen. There is a total of 60 students distributed from first grade to 12th grade. Now, regarding the infrastructure, I have to say that, firstly, uh, the classroom are small, like a bedroom. So, but it is okay since considering that there are just a few students. Now, in each classroom there is chairs, tables, and a whiteboard. Now, regarding the technological resources, I consider that they are accurate to the context, since they have three printers and two projectors. So I think it is a good number considering the context that was mentioned before. Now, I had to mention also that in this school they receive neurodivergent students, uh, which is why inclusion has an important role in this school, not only for students but also for teachers in their taking into consideration while planning, since students, the teachers need to consider the necessities of the students. Now, regarding the context of the course, I had to say that um, I decided to work with the 10th grade A. It has just 5 students, and their level of English is A2, considering that uh, they can speak, they can produce sentences, but not speak fluently. But they can do really well. They had a good pronunciation, and they also had a good performance on grammar, and in general, they are really good in English. Now, going through the needs analysis, I had to say that, in this space, the survey that I applied to my students, in this space, I regard about personal views of the subject, and also here the highlight of this space is that I asked them to mention two interested topics to be discussed during a unit. Also in this space, I asked them the frequency that they use English inside and outside the classroom, and also if they struggle with any of the English skills. Finally, in this part, there is also more personal view questions, and the highlight of this space is that I asked them to mention a type of activities that they want to do in the class. So, with that information, I summary these 5 aspects, which are the following. The main topic that they want to be discussed in the class is music, so and that would be the topic of the unit. Also, the second one, they struggle most with speaking and listening, so I consider that in order to develop both the skills, the grammar that will be help it will be expressing of feelings and opinions, since this grammar requires to students to use both of these skills. Now, they want an increase on the use of ICTs, since, the other classes they do not tend to use it. So I consider that it will be really helpful to do it in this context. Now they want to learn more vocabulary and synonyms, and finally they want to draw or do more creative activities rather than completing worksheets. Now, with all of this that information, I made this table with the aims. The first one says students will be able to identify the most important music genres through a timeline. The second one says students will be able to express their feelings and opinions through a reflective paragraph. And the final says by the end of the lesson, students will be able to create a poster of their favorite artist and present their poster effectively. So, in the first one, I decided to start only with the music, the second one only with the grammar, and the third one they will have to use both of these contents and produce a major outcome. This will be divided into classes since, well, in the first one they will have to create the poster, and the second one they will have to present the poster. So basically, I think that these aims follow an scaffolding since goes from a lower level of exigency to a higher level of exigency. Now, regarding the content and material, I had to say that during the first part of the unit, we are going to use ICT resources such as Canva, the projector, and all of those stuffs in order to complement the material and the content that we are going to be affording during the first part of the unit. And in the second part, they are going to do the creative activities such as drawing. Well, more specifically in the poster, they will have the freedom to do whatever they want, but the idea is to present orally to the class. Now, going forward with the strategies, I had to say that I applied these three strategies. The first one says that the class agenda, since I am going to work with neurodivergent students, so they tend to lose the focus on the lesson easily, which is why I consider that it is necessary to express them a class agenda in order to identify each stage of the lesson, and they are not going to be loose, and also they are going to know what is coming next is of each stage. Now, collaborative work has also an important role since where the main grammar of the unit it will be expressing feelings and opinions. So for that reason, spending time talking with your partners, we will help them to develop both speaking and skill, and we are going to be practicing the topic of the unit. Finally, there will be also an adaptation for shy students in case that they do not want to participate with or they want to work alone. They will have the possibility to do it, and the teacher will be there to assist the students. Sometimes asking them questions or just analyzing the answers that the student provided. But the idea is to not abandon that student. Now, regarding the assessment and feedback, I had to say that I didn't consider this in the needs analysis. However, while I was designing the unit plan, I take into consideration the self-assessment, since this raise awareness on the student learning process, helping them to identify their weaknesses and strengths. Now, it will also be important to highlight the oral presentation that also will be assessed, assessing aspects such as the pronunciation, grammar, the content, vocabulary, fluency, and all of those aspects. Now, the feedback will be delivered to them personally and not in front of the class, since I think it is more suitable for them to do this personally. It would be more comfortable for them to know what are the aspects that they need to develop. Now, the cultural and linguistical consideration, I had to say that as I mentioned on previous slides, will be an increase on their vocabulary, since they struggle using when they had to create sentences orally. They struggle because they do not have the words to do it. So I consider to teaching them synonyms about not only the content of the unit, but also about general words that they should know according to their level of English. Now, if we are going to talk about speaking, it is fundamental to also talk about the use of connectors, since in order to produce a more fluent speech, connectors can help them to make it better. Now, the effectiveness of the planet unit, I had to say that I wasn't able to implement the whole unit since uh, while I was doing the third lesson, they started with the anniversary of the school, which is why I didn't have the time to finish the unit. But I'm really proud of the results. The activities I think were creative for them, uh, something different as the usual that they always did. They do, and well, they really were engaged on the topic, and I think they were able to develop some of their weaknesses. Now, there were also some aspects that I also need to develop while planning. Well, first of all, I need to include more lessons on the unit since, well, um, I only designed 4 lessons, and it was okay for practicing or developing the other skills, uh, listening and speaking, the main skills that they were focused on. However, I didn't focus so much on the other skills, and in order to develop the 4 skills, it will be necessary to implement more lessons. Now, I had to say that it is important to reduce the teacher talking time since, well, I always I love to talk, so I need to be aware that the main characters of the unit of the class, sorry, are my students, which is why I need to develop those aspects since I'm just a facilitator for my students. Going to the final reflection, well, I had to say fiercely that thankfully the needs analysis really helped me to know more about my students, about their weaknesses, their ideas about the subjects, and also their interests in order to collect that information and build a major outcome, which is a unit plan. And with that information, I was able to the, to discover which strategies, how to implement the material and the content in the class. And well, I also had to say that from my experience in this practice, I had to say that it is important to establish a good relationship with your students, since this can create a good environment of teaching with them. And also, it is important to create a good environment with your colleagues, since you need to support to each other, to work with each other, and which is why it is important to have a good relationship with most of them. And well, I have to say that I learned a lot working with neurodivergent students. I developed most of my strategies of learning, and I feel proud of the growing that I experienced in this practice. So now I have to say thank a lot for your attention. See you.